Door she blows, the Noble Thoughts by Idiots podcast. A show about a bunch of landlubbers talking about board games, movies, and video games. And frankly, anything else we care to talk about. I'm your host, Captain Bagels, joined always by me faithful crew. My fellow podcaster, a longtime friend in crime, Ripley Goose. Now let it be known, we don't take ourselves seriously, and neither should you. Now sit back, relax, and prepare to have your mind walk the plank of the depths of our minds. How are you doing today, Goose?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good. So you got a story for us, I hear.
Yes. From the depths of the internet.
Ooh. I am intrigued. What you got?
So, perusing the internet while working today, come across an article on Gizmodo. It's a tech website, just various articles, part of Kotaku, whatever. Found this article I thought was really interesting. Ancient Roman board game found in Norwegian burial mound.
Ooh, that sounds cool.
Yeah, so, long story short, you can Google it. I read the title word for word, so just Google it if you want to see the pictures. They found what is equivalent to 4 checker pieces, essentially, and 4 rectangle dice, if that makes any sense. Apparently they weren't square back in the day, they were rectangle. So they said the pieces date back 1,700 years, and they were found in a cremation pit.
Wow. Okay.
So
we're talking like 300s kind of thing. You said 1,700 years. If I'm doing my math correctly. That's board game has always been strong. I know it.
They think they think the Vikings or the Germanic tribes were fond of these games as well. You know, stole them while they were pillaging and took them back with them, to their homelands. Really, they found the pieces along with various other personal items such as glass, bone, bronze needles. And they said, well, actually not too much was given on how the game was, or how they thought the game was played, but they definitely know that they're game pieces because they've seen them before.
Very cool. So that's like a recurring thing, and it's not like a one-off. They've found these before in their days.
Oh yeah, and actually doing more research, there's quite a few ancient Roman board games you can buy, obviously with modern pieces and whatnot, but same old rules and everything.
That's pretty neat. All right.
Something we can get into for one of our game nights, maybe.
Oh yeah, definitely. That would be like, I'm always looking for new opportunities, like something different. But like, I like that's just another thing showing how crazy advanced the Romans were. They were at a time where they're still playing board. Like they're dealing with all the times there, but they came with entertainment board games.
I mean, granted, these pieces were carved out of ivory, so obviously not plastic or metal, but still.
Still impressive.
Ancient people like to be entertained as well, so it's very. I don't know. It's weird because you don't typically see that side of history. I thought it was cool.
Oh yeah. Anything else to elaborate on there?
No. I mean, a whole bunch of details that don't really concern our interests.
Well, so basically my story, which I thought was pretty badass, was I came across a website called New Atlas, which is where I used to get new technology and other things. And the one that piqued my interest was these new shoes they have made that are 100% made, or a very high percentage, like 90%ish, made from plastic from the ocean. If you know, out in the Atlantic Center, the Atlantic Ocean, or possibly the Pacific Ocean, there's a giant plastic barge out there, unfortunately. But a company, have you ever heard of that, by the way?
Yeah, I believe that's in the Pacific.
Yeah, in the Pacific? Okay. So the thing about it that I found very cool is this company wanted to take action to do something about it. So what they did is they found a way to take 15 bottles, So you take 15 12-ounce fluid bottles kind of deal. They break it down, they clean them, and then they throw it through a machine that cuts it down to granular pieces very similar, melts them down, and then does a process to make a weaving and makes a plastic lining. They use that for the sole of the shoe, the cover, and the lacing. So not only with that, what's badass about these shoes, they're almost better than normal shoes because of them having a plastic base, but they are actually very comfy and they look like normal shoes. They are, not only do they obviously protect the environment because you're finding another use to get rid of that material, but they're water repellent, almost hydrophobic. They're dirt and stain proof. They put dirt, water, like whatever on it, and it just falls off because of the hydrophobic action of it. They're fast drying. They're breathable. Vegan, obviously, because there's no animal parts in it, of course. But they're outsoles, threads, upsoles, insoles. I mean, pretty much almost everything in that shoe is made from the ocean. They also
are they fair trade?
A fair trade, I'd imagine. But the other thing that's badass about them is that they have a unique sole that is made of 100+ squares. Okay, so it's very, and they look like your standard foam kind of syrup. But the thing that's cool about it is it's almost like walking barefoot with these shoes on, because of the way, since it's made of a checkerboard full of sole of these squares, that it gives your foot like a nice, you could really pivot on it kind of deal. It's good for running, good for everything, and you feel the floor. And also because of it being plastic, it's excellent slip resistance, so you can go out in the rain, you're in the water, you won't slip kind of deal.
Cool.
I just thought, and they're currently doing a Kickstarter on them. I thought it was pretty badass. Normally they're gonna go for $100, but they're $48 right now for a pair. 100's a little high for me, but I like, because they are such an advanced shoe, and they look like your normal shoes, but because they have all those abilities, I'm really curious how long they last. Because of being plastic.
I mean, for $48, what do you got to lose?
Yeah, I was gonna buy my wife and I were gonna get a pair most likely, and just do the deal. But I
wonder if that has anything to do with there was, I think, a kid in high school that developed this giant net that was supposed to capture a lot of that plastic in that specific plastic blob or whatever that's floating.
That kid was successful in his program. Does
this have anything to do with this?
I don't think so. I don't think he may indirectly be involved with them. He may be supplying the plastic materials, where they source, because they don't say where they source. They say they source the plastics, obviously from that Pacific barge, but they don't say, who retrieved the materials for them, whether or not they did it themselves. But it's still badass. They're looking for a $20,000 goal. They got 56 days left on Kickstarter, and they're at 6,587. So I think they're going to make it.
That should be easy.
Yeah.
Fairly easy. I mean, go donate if you got the money and the means.
Oh, and the other thing, the shoes, they're super lightweight. A 12-ounce bottle of water, which is like 3 pounds, 2-3 pounds. These shoes weigh about a pound and a half.
Oh, wow.
They're super light, and once again, with that weird sole that they have, it allows you to, it's like walking without shoes, apparently, from the description. Because they got 100+ cubes, creating an extremely flexible. You can bend it end over end, and it'll be just fine. Barefoot comfort. But yeah, that's pretty much my depths of the internet that I found.
They might be good, travel shoes. For stuffing in suitcases.
Definitely.
So my last story of the day, it fits in with my enjoyment of life, my hobby. I don't know what you want to call it. So, as you know, there's no sports right now. No professional sports, or very, very little professional sports. However, I think in the beginning of May, the Korean Baseball League, South Korean Baseball League, started up, and they're playing games now. No masks for the most part. No fans in the stadiums, but their professional baseball league is going on now. So obviously, since they can't have fans, they don't want to play in front of an empty stadium. So the teams are kind of getting creative and trying to one-up each other.
Okay, I could see. This is Japan, you said? Like
South Korea.
Oh, South Korea? Okay, yeah. They can get pretty interesting, too, I can imagine.
So, okay. The first part, I heard of this a couple of weeks ago. The first thing I heard of it was a team printing out these, like the vinyl banners that you see everywhere, like that always say grand opening or whatever. They had those printed out with fans' faces on them and put those across the sections and whatever. So you would see faces in the stadium because all these games are being televised too.
Oh, nice.
And you can actually watch a couple games a week on ESPN here in the US. However, they're on at like 12:30 at night Eastern, 1 in the morning, 3 in the morning.
So my question to you is this one of the only, is this currently one of the only live sports kind of, or one of the few?
One of the few, because I know these guys are going. UFC's been going for about a month. They have a fight almost every weekend now. No fans. Aussie football, I believe, just started yesterday.
Okay.
But as far as I know, oh, no. And a couple of European soccer leagues have started too. Started back up.
With no fans kind of thing.
Right,
so it's,
right.
Okay,
no
all right. Solid.
So, it started off with the vinyl pictures over the seats. Next team one-upped them. They did cardboard cutouts of fans. And obviously they have cardboard cutouts of fans, but they also have characters from shows and movies and stuff,
I like this little rivalry they're doing here.
Well, it gets better. Then, after that, I heard another team did blow-up dolls.
Okay, I can see where. Okay, yeah.
But some of them were like, the blow-up dolls you're thinking of. But then they also had other ones of, again, like characters from movies or TV shows that are popular over there. And the latest from, I guess, 2 days ago, I saw that they are putting stuffed animals in seats. So there's the picture I'm looking at. I would say 75% Pokemon. There's a SpongeBob or two.
Sweet.
Teddy bears. Mickey Mouse, Oh, there's a Sonic and Winnie the Pooh. Okay. So, huge stuffed animals in these seats. But now, I guess I don't know if they have a tradition in South Korean baseball like we do in 7th inning. You'd have the 7th inning stretch. A lot of stadiums sing, "Take me out to the ball game." Well, one stadium, I don't know which team over there, but one stadium has a robot band that plays during the 7th inning.
A robot band?
Yes.
That's awesome. See, so so they're just upping each other. Like, this is what makes it the meta.
That's what it looks like. So, actually, there's more reports of this, though. So, in, I think, Amsterdam, or the Netherlands, well, I think it's the Netherlands Soccer, whatever, association. I'm sorry, I don't know what it's called. They have, instead of putting stuff in individual seats, they're pretty much surrounding the field with giant LCD screens and people's faces from Zoom, like, that are actually watching the game live. So they have live reactions from fans, but you can see how that could turn bad.
Oh yeah, some flashing. You get a little. You got fans in there. You see a virtual maybe or so. Yeah.
Well, I mean, hey, if it was done here for football, and some team was kicking a field goal against the Eagles or whatever, I guarantee you, some fan's gonna whip his out. It's gonna be massive right in front of the field goal kicker.
It is inevitable. Anything else to elaborate on that story? That's all. I have now.
No, I just thought it was funny.
I can now think. All I'm gonna imagine now is anytime I see South Korea baseball going on, I'm just gonna think teddy bears in the audience.
Oh, it's hilarious too.
Okay, so I'll be closing out tonight's episode with. So my first story. Here's how it goes. I want you to imagine the 1997 Bruce Willis blockbuster film, The Fifth Element. Now, you've seen that movie, right?
Yep.
So, of all the crazy adventures and futuristic tech in that movie, The scene that pertains to my story is when Corbin Dallas, played by Bruce Willis, of course, and Lilo, played by Mila Jovovich, are going on an interstellar flight to another planet. Okay? Well, the flight hostess goes to the console next to them in their comfy lay-down beds, a la like a sleeping pod kind of over in Korea or Japan, which is also a fantastic freaking idea, and I don't see why they don't do that already. Like, why not?
I was gonna stay in one in Iceland.
Oh yeah? Like, come on. Yeah. I think that would have been like. I think they should just do that in general. But anyway, back to my point. So the sleeping stewardess comes up to him, and he goes, no, and she hits the button, and he just falls asleep. Okay? Here's where my article comes into place. They currently, and I extrapolated how this is going to work, but scientists, and this is once again from New Atlas that I found this, scientists induce suspended animation state in mice. Okay? The reason why this is big is because mice do a state of hibernation, a hibernation-like thing. They call it torpor, but basically what it does is that the mice will reduce their body temperature and their metabolism way down to conserve energy when there's like a lack of food or maybe the environment's too hostile. Okay. Now mice, they studied them and analyzed them, and they figured out that they could actually identify the brain cells that actually triggered the state in the mice.
Okay.
Now you're like, okay. Now mice would typically, if they did go in the state, would maybe do it for a day. Well, they were able to do it at will, and they were able to suspend the animation to the mouse, and they made it to 48 hours, where it normally is a day. Now, the reason why that's significant, though, is because using just a light source, they were able to trigger it to the mice. But they were like, okay, well that's fine and dandy for mice. But they found out rats don't do this hibernation thing. But they wanted to see if they could use those two. You gotta follow me here. They wanted to see if they could use these two parts in the brain, in the rat brain, to see if they could do the same thing, and it worked. They got the rat to fall into the state. A rat that does not do this. Now the reason why that's significant is because they think that it's not out of the question to think that they couldn't do this for humans. Going back to my Fifth Element scenario where I'm saying, the article mentions nothing about the Fifth Element, but I extrapolated this out, is that they are currently trying to work out to go into human studies. And because they want to use it for like NASA and SpaceX and other companies are looking to the idea of like, what's our closest star? It's like 2.5 million light years away, right? Now we may not be going there, but we're talking about going to Mars or going to like the moons around Jupiter and stuff, right? But in order to do that, they want to put them in a hibernation-like state in the rats, and they figure they could use this. If they find out in the human studies that they do, they could put the humans, the astronauts and the people in space into the state so that time passes much more quickly, and they don't have to worry about being awake and having boredom or going insane because of being in such an enclosed space.
Right.
I'm like, and that is pretty much where they're at with it. They're still doing studies, to extend it to humans. But like, what do you think of that?
That would be pretty cool. I mean, I know they've been looking at ways to do that, especially when we start sending people to Mars, assuming that never happens.
Yeah, and well, here's the other thing. Like, so they're this torpor state they're talking, which is kind of like a hibernation state. It allows animals to snooze through cold nights or even entire winters without wasting too much energy because they're not really needing the food, or they may. I'm not sure if they're completely asleep the entire time they wear. But imagine, like, I just want this for like I'm going to Florida or whatever. Or Florida's not bad, that's 2 hours, whatever. But let's say I'm going to like California, or you know what I mean? Like that's a decent flight time. You're talking like a couple hours. Yeah. I'm like, if you could just be like, hey, put me in the pod, man. Just knock me out. And I'm like, I literally lay my head down, and before I know it, I'm waking up and I'm like, oh, we're here. We're ready to go. And I really question, like, this is more theory.
Or if something bad happens, you wouldn't know.
That'd be good, though, right?
Yeah, I would think so.
Well, I don't know. Like, it depends on your state of mind.
Best case
of where you
scenario.
wanna be. Yeah, like, I don't want to know. But, like, seriously, like, I just thought that was, like, has a lot of potential. I'd love to see that in just, I'm not talking interstellar travel. Yes, that too. But I'm just talking, like, going to Japan. That's a hell of a flight. Hey, knock me out. I mean, like, I'd just be there. And I wonder.
No jet lag?
Yeah, okay, that's what I was going to ask you. Like, do you think you would avoid jet lag because of it?
Maybe, because it depends what time you arrive.
Let's say, because
if you got there in the morning, you'd probably be fine. But if you got there at night, that would suck.
Because you've been asleep for most of the time, so now you'd be awake. So you should try and help. Maybe you can time it to, like, hey, I'm asleep now. Just sync me up to. Yeah, actually, that would make sense. You would literally have to coordinate your travel times now with. Well, you can be out for the next. What's the max flight? I'm thinking, like, they're not more than 36 hours, right? Like, so you're.
No, I think the longest flight might be like 18 hours. Let's look it up.
Yeah.
We got.
I got it as 18 hours, 30 minutes. Yeah.
Yep.
So, and they can push it. Now, we're extrapolating a little bit here, but if they could actually induce 48 hours, they could easily cover that 18-hour window, right? Which isn't even one day. So you literally, when you go to book your flight, you're like, okay, I would like to be knocked out. Make sure that the time that I leave syncs up to being, because you should, in theory, be well rested. Because if you are going to be in hibernation state for like 18 hours, do you know what I mean? And you're just there. And then you save money because you don't have to buy a freaking in-flight meal. See?
I guess. Can't imagine how much that would cost to actually be put into hibernation.
Well, do you have any other tidbits? I have one parting gift of it, or like something to give people as a bonus.
Ooh, nope, I got nothing else.
So the bonus loot, or I would say, is that if you all have an Amazon Prime subscription, which many of you most likely do, and if you don't, I don't know why you don't have it yet. I will say that there's a movie that came out last year that was very, very good called Knives Out. It was freaking awesome with Chris Evans, Daniel Craig, and a whole slew of other characters. It is currently going to be streaming for, if you have a Prime, included with your subscription, tomorrow, Friday.
Are you serious?
June 12th. Yeah. Did you watch it yet?
Yeah, we rented it like
Are you serious?
2 months ago.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. So there you go. That's out in in Prime. That I'll be watching that tomorrow on my birthday.
Son of a.
But I will say, do you want to close this out?
Sure. Well, thanks for listening. We'll be doing more of these. Stay tuned relatively soon for our PS5 announcement reaction. But then again, thanks for stopping by and listening, and please come back.